Hello everyone, welcome to the Crypto Intel channel. Today we'll analyze the price trend of the Hbar coin and pay attention to key levels. Before we start the video, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and click the bell icon so you can always stay up to date on what's happening in the market. It takes you literally a second, but for me it's motivation to improve the quality and level of the videos on the channel. We have a lot to discuss, so let's get started right away. Right now, Hbar looks like it's sitting at one of those moments where most investors are still doubting the move, while the foundations for a major breakout are already being built behind the scenes. And if you look at everything happening around Hedera over the past few weeks, it feels like the market may be seriously underestimating the scale of what's developing. The most interesting part is that while the price action remains relatively quiet, the fundamental story around Hbar keeps getting stronger almost every single week. In crypto, these are often the exact conditions that appear before major upside moves begin. As of June 5th, 2026, Hbar continues trading around the critical $0.10 level. This area has been the main battleground between bulls and bears for months, but now the situation is starting to look different. Price is no longer getting slammed down every time it approaches resistance. Instead, Hbar keeps holding near the upper edge of the range, which suggests that buyers are slowly but steadily gaining control. One of the biggest headlines in recent days has been the news that Kalshi filed paperwork to launch regulated perpetual futures tied to Hbar in the United States. If approved, this could significantly increase liquidity and provide institutional traders with easier access to the asset. Markets usually view these kinds of developments as a long-term bullish signal because they expand the ways large investors can participate. Another important factor is the continued growth of corporate interest in Hedera. Project representatives recently highlighted the importance of the governing council model, which includes some of the largest global corporations. This structure remains one of Hedera's strongest competitive advantages compared to many other blockchain projects, especially when it comes to enterprise adoption. Now let's move over to the technical picture. On the daily time frame, Hbar continues forming a series of higher lows. That means buyers are stepping in at increasingly higher price levels. This type of structure often appears during the later stages of accumulation before a significant breakout takes place. RSI continues recovering from months of weakness and is holding up much better than it did during previous corrections. At the same time, there are still no major signs of overbought conditions. In other words, if momentum starts accelerating, there is still plenty of room for the move to continue. MACD is also showing continued signs of recovery. Bearish momentum keeps fading while buyers slowly take control of the trend. Historically, these kinds of signals often show up before larger directional moves begin. One area that deserves special attention is institutional participation. Recent reports suggest that investment products connected to Hbar continue attracting capital. At the same time, a meaningful amount of circulating supply is being absorbed into long-term investment vehicles and custody solutions. That reduces potential sell pressure and helps create a healthier supply-demand dynamic over time. Another bullish catalyst remains the aftermath of HederaCon 2026. The market is still digesting major announcements including CLPR, the expansion of Hashsphere, Accenture joining the governing council, and continued progress in real-world asset tokenization initiatives. Taken together, these developments continue strengthening the investment case for Hedera as enterprise blockchain adoption moves forward. More analysts are now beginning to place Hbar on their watch lists as one of the stronger large-cap recovery candidates. The reasoning is fairly simple. Unlike many speculative crypto projects that rely mostly on hype cycles, Hedera continues building real-world enterprise solutions and expanding its ecosystem even during periods of relatively slow price action. And sooner or later, markets tend to pay attention to that. Looking ahead, the key resistance zone remains between $0.105 and $0.11. A clean breakout above that area could attract fresh trader interest and potentially open the door toward the 0.12 to 0.13 region. However, the more explosive scenario comes into play if the broader altcoin market starts heating up again. Some long-term models for the second half of 2026 suggest that Hbar could potentially push into the 0.15 to 0.20 range if positive fundamentals remain intact and institutional adoption continues growing. Of course, risks still exist. If Bitcoin enters a deeper correction, Hbar could revisit support around the $0.09 area. But compared to a few months ago, the overall structure looks considerably stronger. Buyers continue defending key levels. The fundamental backdrop keeps improving, and the news flow surrounding Hedera continues getting bigger and more meaningful. To wrap things up, as of June 5th, 2026, Hbar looks like an asset that may finally be emerging from a long period of waiting and accumulation. The market still doesn't appear to be fully pricing in the wave of positive developments that have taken place across the ecosystem over the last several months. And if buyers can finally secure a convincing breakout above key resistance levels, Hbar could end up becoming one of the most talked about altcoins during the next major phase of crypto market growth. Your plans, hopes, and expectations are for it. The best and most engaging comment will be featured in the next video. Just a reminder, friends, informational and news videos are posted on the channel every day, so you won't get bored here. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you're always up to date on all the latest news. And if you liked this video, please support me with a like. Your like is my motivation. Thanks to everyone for watching, and see you next time.